signatures connected to them. And what happens is the more we feel insignificant, the more we feel like our underarms don't smell right, or we don't have the right clothing, or we're not dressed right, or we're not up to speed, and so forth. Everything about what the society tells us we lack now becomes that particular thought that haunts us. How do I get to do better? How much more money do I need to make to get
Mm-hmm.
the girl? How much do I need to do this? Blah, blah, blah. Now, if what you're doing is itemizing your world along with your thoughts, then what happens is thought now begins to think you. You don't think thoughts anymore. Thought has superseded that particular space that you have for creativity. It clouds it out, it crowds it out. It crowds out all of your inner inspiration. Why? Because everything that surfaces or comes to the surface from your inner inspiration is now being interpreted through the pains of your thinking.
Mm-hmm.
The thought process has all kinds of different judgments to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so you judge yourself, you judge others, you judge circumstances. You're judging your world, and you've cataloged them all. Now, all that comes from inside now has to pass through that screen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once you recognize that your thoughts are not you,
Mm-hmm.
once you recognize that it's nothing more than a mechanical instrument that measures your time signature, it's connected to the beat of your heart, the inward and outward drawing of your breath. Thought is essentially time. It is rooted in time. It is stagnant. It is unchanging. And what you have to do now is to know when your thoughts are interfering with what it is that you are looking for as far as solutions are concerned. When you're looking at yourself in the mirror, or you're thinking about what it is you need to move forward on, what is it that comes forward first? Everything that you look at yourself, you start saying, well, wow, what am I doing wrong? I got to adapt and adopt something new to do. I'm doing this wrong. I got to achieve this. It's this yen, it's this passion to always go to the next level, because you don't feel that you are perfect enough. You don't feel like you're this enough.
Mm-hmm.
So once those thoughts supersede all forms of contemplation, all forms of you now unlearning.
Mm-hmm.
All thought is learned,
Mm-hmm.
and if that's all we know, we don't have room for learning. See, when
Mm-hmm.
you learn or you've learned, that's a stopgap right there. If you think you've learned it all and you know it all, or that's
Mm-hmm.
all that you can know, then
Mm-hmm.
your thought process impedes anything beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
When you know that your thoughts are of time, that they impede what you can be, and that you're not using them, they're using you.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to learn what it is. When you make a decision, you have
Mm-hmm.
to learn what it is that comes in your mind that impedes your progress towards the thing that you are now reprogramming yourself to become. So, saying to
Mm-hmm.
yourself, what thoughts have I entertained consistently when I want to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have people in my life, and this is the wrong thing to do. Consistently tell people what your plans are.
Mm. Why is that?
Why? Because their energies, essentially, no matter how positive they are,
Mm-hmm.
they're against you. They become rooted. They become part of what it is you deal with. Say, for instance, you tell somebody, "I want to do this. I
Mm-hmm.
want to do this," and they're very close to you, and they're seeing what you're going through, and then they start telling you, "Well, why don't you do this?" Or, "Here's what you need to be doing." Well, you tell me that you're going to do this. How much longer? What's going on now? Somebody's added pressure to you. And
Mm-hmm.
no longer does that gift that was given to you inside for what you want to do, no longer does it belong to you. It belongs to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pitching in, and they're affecting your concentration. They're inside of what it is that you are creating. It's like somebody, like a woman carrying a baby,
Mm-hmm.
third and fourth month.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, somebody says, "Well, you know what? That umbilical ain't giving enough. Let me go ahead and stick another umbilical in there. Let me put something else in there that, I think that belongs." No, no, no. This is mine. This is
Mm-hmm.
me. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why the baby is covered. That's why you don't see anything, because everything that actually is created in darkness. It's created in mystery.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you have to understand. When you create a thought that you want to see come into reality, you
Mm-hmm.
don't share that with anybody,
Mm.
even
Not
the
even,
closest,
not
right?
even, not even your significant other, your
No,
children,
no,
none of that.
nobody, no one.
Whoo, whoo, doc.
Because you have to understand that they're individuals unto themselves.
Yes,
All right,
yes,
they are not you.
yes.
Okay, and that's why when you're writing, when you're about to create something, you always create by writing things down, and after they've become a reality, and you see that it has the baby can get up and walk by itself.
Mm-hmm.
The baby knows what to ask for. The baby knows what to do. If
Mm-hmm.
the baby is now taking care of itself, the very fact of what you created will show them. You don't have to explain anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
unnecessary. They will say, wow, so what's this? They'll come to ask you what the baby is because you know what it is, and you could explain it to them the way you want to explain it to them because they don't have anything to do with it after that. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to remember the seed that you plant. That's why when you plant a seed, you don't see it. You can stand there for like days and ain't nothing happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody comes, well, maybe some more water. What are you doing? Or maybe some more dirt. Or pour some more, fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's your seed. And that
Mm-hmm.
seed grows in your mind, the soil of your mind, the soil of your imagination. That's why I say that a child's imagination is colonized. A child has a direct connection to that place I was telling you about. The
Mm-hmm.
child goes directly to the knower
Mm-hmm.
because the child is always in a place trying to create and look for its own world and so forth. We force the child to adapt to us.
Mm-hmm.
The child is adapting to world the way the child sees it. And
Mm-hmm.
with guidance, of course, and protection, you are there to guide that individual soul. But just
Mm-hmm.
because that soul came through you, it doesn't mean that you own that soul. And a lot of people really believe that once you start telling them your secrets,
Mm-hmm.
that somehow they now own part of you. And they do.
Mm-hmm.
They do. So you have something that you really want to see happen. Do not let your thoughts, which again comes from say you need to share this. You need to share this with somebody because you don't have anybody to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to the mirror.